All right, so what's up, everybody? I am with Taylor Price. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, Andres. How you doing?
I'm doing well. So earlier I just said I found your content on TikTok about investing, and I just want to go straight to it. How did you go into investing at such an early age? I feel like people nowadays might be wrong here, don't really think about investing because investing is kind of intimidating, especially when you want to look for brokerages or stocks, bonds, etc. Like that lingo, that language can be really intimidating, and it's not something that is taught in school, right?
hmm Yeah, so it's actually kind of funny. So I am a Gen Z, and I believe you're a millennial Gen Z as well. And so we have the world at our fingertips with what's going on within the internet. So basically, I took it upon myself. I have a little bit of a crazy background. I wanted to be a neurosurgeon my entire life. Ended up going to my first semester college for it, and I ended up dropping out because I had a spinal fusion myself, and I do the three-hour labs in a row that they were doing. And so my mom, she's a finance major, and she studied at Baruch College in the city, was like, Taylor, you should try this out. You're good with numbers. Why don't you see where it goes? So I said, okay, we're going to go back to school. We're going to try it. Some of the classes that I was in briefly mentioned about the stock market, but nothing of what I learned using the internet, literally just using Google and searching everything up. So um, I definitely don't see it as intimidating. I see it as an opportunity. And that is because money will always exist, or some form of compensation or bartering or trading will always occur. And it's a great field to be in. If you're not in it already, I definitely recommend looking into it.
Now, when you talk about investing, is this something that you do for full time, or is this something that you should really utilize from your income and then really strategize your income and I guess your savings into creating more long term uh, income or dividends? What do you think about investing? What's your strategy? Everyone says, or not everyone, but a lot of people say when you're really young, you should really be risky in your investments. And by risky, I don't know if that means going to cryptocurrency or going in stocks, like tech stocks, or do you just go straight into say safer investments like index funds or in ETFs? How do you kind of balance that I think you're, like you said, you're Gen Z, you're really young. So how do you balance your portfolio in investing?
This is a great question. So when I first started off, I started off very safe with mutual funds just in Vanguard, investing a portion of my income that I made at my full-time job while going to school. And then I noticed that the returns weren't that great. I was expecting that quick, rich money that social media portrays of guys going in Lamborghinis and girls getting these super expensive bags. But when I started investing in mutual funds, it really was not all about the hype. So I did further research, and I was like, maybe investing in individual companies might be better. So I started investing in individual companies. I started investing in startups, and I started investing in ETFs, exchange traded funds.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, when people ask me this question, where should I begin? I say, don't even look at investing yet. Only if you have your credit score in line, if you have your IRAs down and you're making the full contribution, if you have your 3 to 6 months of savings, if you have a high yield savings. There's so much more that goes into personal finance and finance in general than just investing. So the way in which I really discuss with people and to give your viewers or your listeners a sense of visualization, I basically say it's the money tree. So we start off with our seed, and that's budgeting. And then we move forward from there, and we water it with some credit score, and we water it with some of our income and our Roth IRA and our savings accounts and our emergency funds. And once this money tree starts to grow, that's when we have all these branches. Now, for these branches, it can depend on your circumstance. If I'm into real estate, I could say, hey, I'm going to grow out my money tree and I'm going to start real estate investing. Or, hey, I have a side hustle right now that's for photography and I want to make it a full-time business. So that could be another branch off that tree as well. Another branch that I like to do is investing. I consider that a totally branch of the money tree, as what we like to call it. And in order for it to flourish and grow, we have to go back down to our roots within the budget.
Now, so before even investing, before even putting money in a single stock or bond, it's always important, you think, that to have your rainy day funds like saved up, especially nowadays, because like the job market is really difficult. It's really hard to get a job, and if you get fired for whatever reason, and you're left with no income, then you should at least have like 4 to 6 months of like money like saved up before you start investing, right?
Of course, yeah. So the way in which most commonly people do it, even if they do, is between 10 and 30% of their paycheck goes to that savings account. So while they're at this full-time job, they should be contributing a portion of that income. Now that we have direct deposit, it's super easy. I have my own business, Tap Intuit, where some of my employees opt in, okay, I want to have my check go 50% towards my checkings account and 50% towards my savings account. So it's super easy, and I really don't think that there's any excuse to not start contributing. Especially in unprecedented times like today. You're so right with the job opportunity and trying to find a job, and having to rely on paycheck to paycheck from the government is not something that's sustainable for your own well-being as well as for our entire economy.
Definitely. Now, I have a question that like I kind of like struggle with, and I think a lot of people too, because the student debt is a huge problem, right? So, interest rates are always going to be like not super high, but they're relatively high, and it sucks having interest rates on student loans, right? So, is it better to pay off your student loans and not invest in the stock market and ETFs and index funds, or should you kind of like, I don't know, do the math behind it and do both, like pay off your student loans and put your money in index funds or in stocks?
This is one of actually the most common questions that I think I ever receive. And my answer to that, it is totally up to your situation. So if you have a credit score and your student loans may be affecting that by you not paying it off, pay it off. Otherwise, it's going to damage the rest of your financial well-being for the long run. Now, if you are somebody who has a job at college or is just trying to pay off student loans directly after college, I think a small portion of your income can go to savings, and the rest of the portion, depending on your cost of living and stuff like that, should go to the student loan. So it really all depends on your financial circumstances and if you have enough money to actually start investing. Because once again, I say do not start investing until you have those principles down all the way to the roots that we just talked about.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think there's no right answer for everyone. Everyone has their own answer and their own
Exactly.
way of figuring out things. So just looping back and focusing like on you. So like, when did you know, or when did you figure out like, oh, like I'm pretty good at investing. Like I know my stuff. And like, how did you like go from that principle to actually creating your business, Tap Intuit, where you teach Gen Z on subjects that schools don't prioritize, right? So
Yeah.
like just tell us like the story of how you got into like investing, how you really developed that skill, and then actually made your own business.
Mm-hmm. So investing for me was a little bit different than a lot of other people. When I do something, I do it to the max. And so during that point in period of my life, when I found about the opportunity that the equities market and the stock market has to offer, I dropped everything, meaning my social life. We're hanging out with friends, going to parties and that kind of thing. And I devoted all of my time to researching online, Investopedia, reading The Intelligent Investor, reading Trading for a Living, all these wonderful books you all should read if you're listening to this right now. And it was a hard road. Like when people say that investing can get lonely, especially when you start making more money than you do at your job. Example, I was a manager at a small industrial uniform rental company. And when I started investing in these individual companies, it started making more money than at my job. So I eventually quit that job and started investing full time while I was in college. And again, I even then my grades at college were suffering a little bit because of the amount of time that I was researching plays in the stock market, what's going on in our economy, how does the Federal Reserve work, what goes on between payments and global integrations and everything along the lines of that. So yeah, that's basically how it started. And during this whole venture, I actually blogged about it, and it started off as Tap Investments. So just my community back at home, a very small community, would read up on this blog and see, wow, she's actually making some progression here. Or why isn't school teaching me this? I don't understand. I'm in high school, I'm in college, and they're not even teaching these basic principles. So that's when I got this click in my head. Okay, there's a lot of people coming up to me asking, hey, I would pay you to mentor me on credit score. I would pay you to mentor me on personal finance and where to start and where to go and what's a brokerage and all that stuff. So me being the entrepreneur that I am, I took that information and I developed Tap Intuit. And throughout the time that I've been creating Tap Intuit and innovating and growing it, it's really come down to a bigger purpose of teaching what school does not prioritize for Gen Z. Because I myself am a Gen Z and I see the route in which we are going in. And I don't want our entire generation to have to suffer through student loans and to have to suffer through massive mortgage debt or massive credit card debt. And so I'm trying the best that I can with Tap Intuit and even with my social media following to nip it in the bud. And really, we are the future leaders of tomorrow. And so if I'm able to use my platforms such as Tap Intuit and such as my TikTok or my YouTube, then that's the way that I'm spreading my message.
Definitely. Now, like you said, information is in the air. School can teach you everything. So with information like online with the internet, you can literally like learn anything. And I'm pretty sure like people may look at you like, hey, like here's this really young Gen Z entrepreneur. She's so young, like she doesn't know, what does she know about investing? She's so young, you know. And like
100%.
so like how you're the like with your TikTok account, you do have a huge following. I think over like 300K, 350K.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm pretty sure like a lot of that from your social media platforms, a lot of that drives traffic to your business. Tap into it, right? Now, like, is there like a sort of like stigma where like people are like, oh, like, what is this young girl gonna teach me about investing? Like, she's so young, but the information's online. Like, how do you deal with that if you do receive those messages from people?
That's such a great question. So when I first started popping off on TikTok, I got so much Twitter hate. Now, all the hedge fund managers on Wall Street, they all hang out on Twitter. All the fin tweet, the memes that they have. Keep in mind, I didn't even use my Twitter account since like 2014. So one day I get a text message from my friend. Oh my God, this one guy just retweeted you. And it was a meme that somebody had made of me. What does this girl know? She's just in college. She knows nothing about investing. So I took it upon myself to DM this guy from a Wall Street hedge fund manager and say, hey, there's no reason for you to post this, but if you want to talk, I'll show you my recent activity on my TD account, and then we can talk from there. So he said, okay, show me what you got. And I showed him. And you know what happened after that? He released a public apology statement because I showed him and I proved myself, which I don't even understand why I have to the really financial Twitter world. And so during that point in time of my life, that's when I really experienced being a woman in finance, especially being a young woman in finance. It's such a male-dominated field, and I had all of these hedge fund managers who were predominantly male criticizing me for being young and trying to teach Gen Z about investing and about trading.
That's really cool. I feel like it's like a new world, man. It's like information's online, and these hedge fund managers, like, they're like maybe like a lot more old school, and they
Yeah.
probably don't expect people to learn things on their own online. And
Mm-hmm.
it's really cool. Like, I mean, for the wrong reasons that person found you and like made a meme about you, but it's really cool how you could have like ranted and, you know, badmouth that person, but instead you kind of turned the tables, you know, got his opinion. You know, you basically were very stoic about it.
Yeah.
Spoke to him, and I think that compared to a rant or like speaking back to him in a bad way would have been really bad. But instead, you turned that situation into an extreme positive, and I think, like, yeah, you didn't have to prove anyone your situation, but you definitely did in such a good way. And I think a lot of people nowadays with social media, with what's going on, like, I think they'll just use that energy and just badmouth that person. Instead, you took a different approach, which is something I think like very like important nowadays.
Oh, 100%. I have to give credit out there too. There was only about 3 guys that I can think of off the top of my head from Twitter instead, and we're posting factual good stuff about me. Instead, when I was her age, I was drinking, partying, smoking, doing all the bad stuff. And guess where she's at? She's 10 years ahead of you from where you were at your age. So I did have those good comments too, but obviously hate sticks out more than good. You can have 20 comments that say, "Oh my God, I love your support. I love your educational videos," and you just have that one comment that says, "You suck." I mean, those are the comments that really stick out, and or "You're a fraud," or "You have no idea what you're talking about," or even worse, "You're a girl. How could you know any of this stuff?" I mean, those I've gotten to the point where I've trained myself to say, "Hey, I respect your opinion. Could you tell me why you believe this way, or why you believe such, or how can I improve?" Instead of, like, you're right. The hate is something that I don't personally believe in or I don't contribute to. And in order for me to be a leader for my generation, I need to exemplify and portray what I want for my generation to see.
Definitely. So do you think like you've developed like a thick skin, like being a girl and like a girl entrepreneur, you know?
Yeah, 100. Yeah, definitely, most definitely, 100%. My personality, I'm a Taurus, so my birthday is May 15th. I don't know if you believe in horoscopes or astrological signs or something like that, but Tauruses tend to be more stubborn and more thick skin type, and I definitely am that, thick skin. I can deal with those comments, but I'm not gonna lie, at first it was really disheartening and it almost made me want to stop doing social media.
Yeah, I think a lot of people go through that, but it's good that you're pushing on because I think you're providing a lot of value, and that's why your social media following has only increased, right?
Yes, now we're at 340,000
Sheesh.
on
When did you
TikTok.
start? When did you start on TikTok?
I started late December, early January.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty early. I think a lot of like or the first movers were like in November. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't close down so you can increase your following. We'll see what happens, but it's good that you say you use Twitter not as much, but you have Instagram obviously, right?
Yeah, I have Instagram and YouTube. So just this past month, over the month of July, my company Tap Intuit had a virtual event called Secrets to Success, where we featured many, many TikTok influencers in our personal finance, investing, business, real estate niche. And I onboarded 12 interns. So my YouTube career has kind of taken a little pause, but I'm just getting back into it. I used to post Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'm just getting back into that this upcoming Monday. So you'll be seeing a lot more on YouTube. My Instagram is actually growing quite a bit as well with this whole TikTok ban scare.
Hmm.
Everyone's flocking over to different social media platforms just to double. So now I'm at 17,000 on my Instagram, which is pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so you said you hired 12 interns?
Yes, 12 interns. That's
Yeah,
correct.
you gotta explain. Like, okay, first, please explain. Like, when did you first start tap into it, and then like, how many employees did you have, and how are you scaling so fast? Like that seems like an impressive number.
Yes.
12 interns.
So we started, so like I said, I started my blog. That was in early 2019.
Mm-hmm.
I incorporated Tap Intuit August 2019. Just myself and another person to start off with as relations. And then going forward, I have 6 employees now in creative marketing, a manager, relations, influencer relations, public relations, social media strategy, and then business operations. And we really scaled so fast because of, once again, the power of social media. One viral video can take you to anywhere. And so when I posted my internship, I posted it on my personal TikTok at Priceless Tay. And little did I know that I think I would get over 600 internship applications. I have to say, though, at that time, I think it was the beginning of June or mid-June. Many internships were getting canceled because of the coronavirus. And so when I posted that I had this virtual, remote online internship, so many people flocked to it because their internship had previously gotten canceled. So that's what
That's a really good move. Now, out of curiosity, was like this internship, was it a paid one, or was it something where like the interns can kind of like get some value out of their internship, like a lot more value compared to any other ones that they'd applied to?
Everyone on my internship program has had an amazing educational experience. It was a unpaid 1-month internship. So just about every Tuesday and Thursday, we would host educational meetings. They would choose what they want to work on, the projects they want to work on, and my team would help develop them and develop their strategies. And we would really work basically as a decentralized system, pretty flex time, nothing too strict, obviously we were all Gen Z, so it's absolutely amazing when we all come together for a cause in which we all know that needs to be talked about and that needs to be fixed before we grow older, and then our children will have to deal with the same problems.
Definitely, yeah. I think, like I said, it's a really good move. So, like, do you consider like Tap Into like an online school, online platform to learn about like investing in personal finance? What do you?
Yes.
Now,
yes.
I was gonna ask, like, okay, this might be like far-fetched, like far into the future, but like, do you think, like, depending on how long or how scalable you want your business to be, do you think like one day you'll actually like to open up your own physical schools, maybe even your own colleges, universities, Tap Intuit University, where you teach subjects that the public school system is not teaching? Like, where do you go as far as that, or is that too like far-fetched for now?
Yes. So we are actually, two of our interns actually said, why don't we go into high schools? Why don't we go into colleges? So we're working on a college ambassador program, which should be launching January or February. So spring semester 2021. So you'll be seeing us in colleges. And this program it's 2 days a week. So one day is educational, one day is fun day, entertainment day. So you might learn something about credit score on Monday, and then on Thursday you might play a game of Kahoot talking about credit score and getting a prize, maybe a call with me or a call with a Team Tap influencer for winning that game. And we also have Tap high school clubs coming out too soon. However, with the virus, we are also postponing that to January 2021. So definitely take a look out on that because it's something super exciting. And to talk about a physical location, have you ever heard of the company Kumon?
Wait, Kumon?
Yes.
What is it? No, I haven't.
So Kumon basically is a company that really stresses the importance of math and science as well as reading comprehension at a super young age. So they start, I believe, teaching calculus at like 7th or 8th grade. It's an after school program that's paid, and it's a franchise, so anybody can really open one up. And the way in which I picture Tap Intuit is one day becoming almost like a Kumon, but talking more about again, the subjects that school doesn't prioritize. This can be something along the lines of personal finance or real estate or how to do your taxes, to business, or it could even be something like coding, because coding is something almost everyone should know nowadays, especially because it's within our generation. The technology is actually booming. And so maybe we can even expand further out in those subjects.
Yeah, I think there's so many ways, especially like in this educational market, that you guys can really expand to, and that's really sounds really exciting, especially how fast you guys are moving. Like you just literally started from a blog last year, and now you have multiple team members, and you're looking into like after school programs, and it's really cool, like what you guys are doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely was not an easy ride. I've devoted my life, I've committed so much of my time to my company as well as my content creation. And I guess that's another way that you can devote or say how we've scaled so fast is because so many people, they want the Saturdays and Sundays off. I haven't taken a Saturday or Sunday off in almost a year. I've worked every single day, 24/7. And so that also, I think, the devotion and work ethic and dedication that you have will also predict the outcome of what your company will be. There's this interesting conversation to have of, would you prefer ambition over intelligence, or would you rather be intelligent and have no ambition? And so to me, answering that question, it's 100%. I would always choose ambition over intelligence. Why? Because ambition, you go out, you pick up the stones, or you pick up the fishing rod and you cast that line and you start reeling back in the fish. But somebody who is intelligent can just be sitting on the couch all day doing nothing.
I definitely agree with that. I think there's like a few people who have like extreme like high IQs, like those people that are like just like prodigies. They're extremely
Mensa.
intelligent, yeah, but they don't have that ambition to do something with their intelligence to create a business or service, right? But if you have that ambition, then like I think the thing with the ambition is like if you don't have the know-how or the intelligence, as long as you take that action, I think you learn along the way and you build that intelligence just naturally just by doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, experience over everything.
Exactly. Now, I kind of want to like loop back. So you said you went into index funds, ETFs, uh, and you said you invested in like startups. So I feel like that, like investing in startups is like more of like a riskier investment. Now, of course, investing in stocks, you can go to like Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, Vanguard. Now, when you want to invest like in actual startups, where do you usually go? I feel like when I think about investing in startups, I feel like you need to work for like a VC, you know. But how, as an everyday person, how do you invest in a startup?
A great resource that you can use is Seeking Alpha. There's so many intelligent people on there. It either talks about ETFs or index funds or the latest news or startups. Another great way is just reaching out on LinkedIn. You can find so much great information and great connections on LinkedIn. Your network is your net worth. So if you start off on LinkedIn, add me on LinkedIn.
Well, yeah, I use that pretty extensively, but only for like for personal use, not as much. But like for the brand, I try to use it as much as possible. But yeah, I think it is like a really good resource, especially like how the dynamic has changed on LinkedIn. It's like more
Mhm.
content based. So if what do you say like you use more? I guess like now that you're busy with your team, like how do you kind of like balance like using social media, managing your team? Because like right, like your business is your baby. Like how do you kind of like channel your ambition, your energy into your your team? Because like obviously like they don't own the business. It's not specifically their baby, but it's yours. So like how do you kind of like uh I guess transfer your energy into your team to kind of like play along the same path, because not everyone's gonna have that same intensity, that same ambition, motivation as you for your business.
So people usually come to me
So they want to work for you.
asking me for, yeah, yeah, they want to know, they want to have a mentor, they want to have direct connection with me. Hey, I have student loans, I don't know what to do with this, I don't know how I'm going to pay it off. I would like your mentorship and I would like to work for you, and through this we can I can learn more about education while also contributing to a cause in which I've personally been inflicted upon myself. So it's not something, it's not a far-fetched subject. I mean, we all go to school. We go out into the quote-unquote real world, what our parents say. We're thrown out there knowing nothing about personal finance. And so the motivation, I believe, is already there because, again, the world revolves around money. Money is never going to go away, whether it be cryptocurrency or digital assets. That form of compensation is never going to go away. And so they realize, hey, this is a problem. We need to fix this because if we don't fix this, my children are going to have to go through it. My children's children are going to have to go through it. And so the motivation is really just within everyone who's experienced some form or another that they've been thrown out into this world, knowing nothing about credit score, knowing nothing about how to do their taxes or what to do when they're 18.
Mm-hmm. Like, haven't seen like the public school system being like so flawed. Like, if and when you have children, do you think you would send them to public schools?
Yes. The reason being is because I myself went to a private school, and it was a small private school, and there was no diversity. I grew up with the same people for 15, like a pretty long portion of my life, 14 years or something like that. And so I think with public schools, you're able to learn and develop yourself quite early at a young age and figure out about more culture and just figuring out where you fit in and what you like doing. And again, with like private schools, I don't think there's as much opportunity when it comes down to, okay, there's all different walks of life. When you go to a public school, it brings you more down to earth and humble. And then when you go to a private school, typically people are in the same income class. People, it's a different feel. So I think I would definitely send my kids to public school.
Yeah, it's definitely like something that you can like debate because like of course you need like that interaction, like the communication skills with other people. And then like if you have like other programs like yours after school or during school, if they change the school system to add those subjects that they don't talk about, that would be like an added benefit. As long as they teach your children like the basics of finance or other things that the schools don't teach, that's what it's all about, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because 6 out of our entire states in the United States do require a personal finance class. But what about all of those other like 44 or 45 other states that aren't doing anything about it? It's just surprising to me.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you were, say, if someone were a new college grad with a lot of student debt, right? Or they're in college right now and they're not passionate about their subject and they're not looking to work in corporate America, corporate world, right? What do you recommend for a millennial Gen Z person to do? Like how should they make money? Like what would you say for them to like make money on their own? Or I guess once they graduate from college, like what should they do to make money on their own?
Yeah. So even the question of college, I think college is a scam. Personally, I'm just doing it to get my credentials to say, hey, I finished my degree in finance. Now you can't come at me even more saying I know nothing about finance.
Mm-hmm.
But many people don't know about technical schools or trade schools, and that there's a lot of really great two to 3 year programs that you can do, and you could be well off, and you can have a nice salary to invest passively in dividends or start flipping houses. So I would say even before taking a look at college, figure out what you want to do. You need to take a look, especially within job opportunities of today. You need to be looking 10 years from now, is the jobs going to be available? 5 years from now, is the job is going to be available? Because people sign up for college saying, okay, I'm going to be an education major and I'm going to do teaching. Well, you don't know 4 years from now if the teaching world is totally saturated and you're not going to be able to find a job. So it's always important to look at the industry outlook especially when you're going into the corporate field. However, if you don't want to go down that route, which I personally didn't go down that route, start freelancing. You can do this at any age. You can sell your services. When I was 16, I opened up a photo booth company called Price Right Photo Booths, where I had a little photo booth during the time it was super popular, and just click the screen and it would print out like a 3-strip photo that people could use and have fun at events.
So no, were you always entrepreneurial as a kid?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Always creating, asking questions, innovating. Um, yeah.
now, going back to said like uh, working day in day out 24/7, like you felt lonely. I feel like naturally entrepreneurs are really like high level entrepreneurs, like it's natural for them to feel lonely because there's not too many people. They kind of want to live comfortably, and like that's all right. If you want to like, I'll say, their 9 to 5, just chill, watch movies or whatever, that's fine. But there's a certain amount of people, very like few amount of people, who actually like devote their life into a certain subject, into a certain business, what their life's work is, right? So how was it like? Did you have to find people that were like-minded for you to feel not as lonely, or do you still feel lonely like when you work in your business, or now that you have like a team, you don't feel as lonely?
This is a funny question. So when it first started happening and I was feeling lonely, first off, I 100% believe in therapy. So if you're not already going to a therapist, check it out. They're awesome, great resource to talk to. Um, but I got a dog. I got a puppy. Her name's Coda. She's uh, just a year old now. She's going to be turning 2 in February. So she was my lifesaver back then. She's a little brown Akita puppy. She looks like a teddy bear, or a bear is what people call her. And that really, really helped out a lot in a time where I was feeling super lonely. I was investing, just sitting at my computer all day, working on my blog, or just trying to find trades or researching about the stock market. And so I got her. And moving forward, time started to free up a little bit, and I was going to a new college, so I met some new friends that were interested and had a similar passion to the stock market as I did. And I would definitely say the interns that I just had this past July, they have been absolutely amazing. I talk with them every single day. I used to have a schedule Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, where I would go on with different teams and we would talk about what's going on in the field or in the company and some of their ideas and help work on it. And then we would have our group meetings. And till this day, after the internship opportunity is over, none of them want to leave my Slack. They asked, can you please leave the summer intern chat open? We still want to be a part of the meetings. We still want to know what's going on. We still want to help out. And so it has been such an amazing experience. They're basically my family now. So I definitely say the interns have helped. But a point of conversation, which we haven't had, is something that I really want to mention, is that I launched the first ever educational content house called Team TAP. Think of the Hype House, but educational. So we entertain and we educate. And so being with them and these group of influencers has also been super fun. We do weekly meetings and hop on the phone and talk about how we're going to do a TikTok post or what are we going to do on YouTube in some different ways, and maybe strategizing monetization. And so we actually went to LA. I flew them all out to LA. We had about a week together where we'd film a whole bunch of content. And again, they're also my family as well too.
So you've created like an infotainment based model. So like you entertain and you provide value based on whatever subject that you want to teach, right?
Yep.
So that's like under the umbrella of the whole Tap Intuit company, right?
Yes. Yes. So think about it this way. Team Tap is the forefront. They're the influencers. They're the ones that everyone is seeing. And then we have the back end, the people that are doing the business operations, or the people that are doing the marketing and blog campaigns or marketing campaigns or sales or customer service, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So okay, so now that you have like a huge team and you're flying out people and you're creating like new segments of your business, now most of your revenue comes from the courses that from Tap Intuit, right?
The programs,
The
yes.
programs, okay. And from these programs, is it you teaching the programs, or do you have other of your team members teaching whatever subjects that you have on your programs?
Yeah. So I teach, there's me and another educator. His name is Donald. He specializes in options. So I invest in equities and I also do personal finance and some business consulting. And he mainly focuses on options investing and options trading. So there's two of us as of right now, but we are looking to scale to some more mentors in which I see best fit and see that their skills are actual tangible skills. Um, so that's, yeah, that would be our number one form at Tap Intuit of compensation. We are launching a subscription box and it is going to be called Box Z, as in Gen Z, but Box Z, all lowercase BOX capital Z. And that's going to be launching and releasing this fall. So within the subscription box, you can be learning about maybe Rich Dad Poor Dad, a book that many of my influential friends like, or maybe you can be receiving a tech item such as a mouse or mouse with a mouse pad, or you can receive a trading journal. And so these are all going to be hand-picked items by Team Tap, our group of influencers at the Tap House. And it's going to be in a quarterly subscription box, which you can purchase as well.
And you guys are full of ideas and just expanding and scaling. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Now, like, so these programs, I'm assuming like some can be free, some are paid. Now on YouTube, I don't know if you guys have like a huge team or produce a lot of content on YouTube heavily, but do you have like some sort of platform where you kind of just like teach people on investing to kind of like maybe direct them to your sites, to your program, so they become full-time members or subscribers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my YouTube kind of consists of investing, business, just me vlogging as well too, day in the life of an entrepreneur type content. But I do have a playlist on my YouTube that says stock market. And so people, this is one of the most popular ones. People love watching about investing and about trading or day trading or swing trading, or maybe some of the stock picks which I like. And so they see it there, in turn, they check out Tap Intuit, and then they can either decide I'm satisfied with the free content, or I want to speak with Taylor herself and I want to actually learn this.
Mm-hmm. Now, I just have like a very quick question. So you don't have to talk about numbers, but was there like a certain trade that you made that you got huge returns and you were just like extremely excited about it? Like, was there like a certain moment
Yes.
like, damn?
Yeah, it was in the summer of June 2019. So as investors, we know that the summertime, usually it's a little bit slower. It's mid-season, kind of dead. And then the wintertime is, it's the annual reports, the company's just filing what they did for the end of the year. It's super hot, super exciting. But this past summer of June 2019 has been a summer like no other, where there was so many big moves. I mean, one ticker, for example, that I remember trading in was Soly, SOLY. This ticker went from like $5 all the way up to like 70 or 90 or something like that. And I was in it from the beginning. And so, yeah, June 2019 had a lot of hot runners, and I think timing's everything. So, yeah, I would definitely say Soly was one of the ones that really, really helped me out.
And that's you said that was a startup?
Yeah.
Sheesh. And like we're like in startups, like a lot of people say it's really, really like, or penny stocks in general as well. Like that market is like very, very volatile, very risky. Now, like
Yeah.
in your personal portfolio, how do you kind of diversify like your risk bucket versus like your safety bucket? Like is 80% of it into ETFs and index funds, and the other 20% is in like crypto, startups, etc.? Like how do you kind of split that?
70-30.
70/30.
So yeah, 70 is safe, 30 is ones that I'm willing to take a lot more risk on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I
Yeah.
think that's a good strategy. And like one more thing is like I feel going back to like ETFs, a lot of people have said even in books that like if you put X amount of money a month with an initial investment and over 40 years as that compound interest just increases over when you're like 65 years old, for example, could retire essentially like
A
a
million.
millionaire. And I feel like that sounds like too good to be true, but it's definitely like the math is just the numbers and it's just right. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's just crazy to kind of think about that concept of like being a millionaire guaranteed, assuming that you get like a 7% return from your index funds. And if you have like a Roth IRA and, you know, once you pull out your money, you're not going to get taxed on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely 7% is typically the average return for the market. So you're right, spot on with that. Over the past few years, we have been seeing a lot higher, like 12 to 14%. But yeah, when you're taking a look, there's a lot of calculators online that you can say, okay, I'm invested $1,000 in my principal. This after 50 years is going to be maybe a few $100,000, or depending on obviously on your contribution, but similar how the Roth IRA works.
Mm-hmm. Now, Taylor, is there anything that that we didn't mention that you kind of wanted to talk about or say?
I think we covered it all, Andreas.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And if someone is hearing this right now and they're really excited about your business, your projects, just the scalability of like where your business is moving forward to, where can they like hit you up? Where can they find you to maybe essentially get an opportunity to work with you?
Yeah, so I have a community number that we discuss and that you can text. It's 424-226 5797. Again, 424-226-5797. Or you can just reach out www.tapintuit.co.
Got it. So
If
I'll
you
put
just
that in the show
search
notes.
yeah, yeah, of course. If you're just wanting to search Tap Intuit as well too, we pop up. We're on Pinterest, all social medias, so go check us out.
Cool. And so are internships still available for anyone who's still looking for work, for
Yes,
experience?
yes. So as of right now, we're just looking for maybe one or three, not nearly as 12 as our huge project that we had going on this summer. But if you'd like to be part of our group and learn more information, you could always email us, team@tapintuit.co.
Awesome. Okay. I put all in the show notes. Your TikTok, I'll put that as well. Is that your most, you said like TikTok, you weren't going as heavy on it as of lately, but you said now within the next couple of weeks that you're going to actually start producing a lot more content, right?
Yes. My YouTube, that was for my YouTube. Right now on TikTok,
Okay. Yeah.
I'm posting like 3 to 4 times a day.
Mm-hmm. Now on TikTok, like that's only you, right? Uh, you can't really have other team members produce content really because I feel like
Correct.
on TikTok it's mainly like you got to show a face on it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
That's
pretty,
only
yep.
you.
It's just me. Yep.
Okay, cool. So Taylor, I really appreciate your time. I think a lot of people listening to this can be really excited about the potential opportunity with working with you, hearing your content, and really like this. Yeah, I think it's really important what you're doing. You know, like the school system, the public school system really isn't what we want it to be. And there's a lot of things that we're not being taught, and there has to be someone teaching us, you know, these things like personal finance, investing, you know, taxes, whatever it is, like it needs to be taught. And like you said, if it's informative, even better. If it's entertaining, that's like if it has the mix of both worlds, that's even better because that's what content's all about. Yes, it can be a little dry, but if you add that mixture of like entertainment, then I think a lot of people can grasp onto it. And that's why I think your TikTok following has increased so much because people love you for who you are. They love your content, they love your value. And that's why I think that your TikTok is going to only blow up, your YouTube and all the other social media platforms.
Yes. Thank you so much, Andreas, for having me. It was great speaking with you.